Isang magandang araw. Ang diskusyon natin para sa araw na ito ay may pamagat na Meaning and Relevance of History. From the title itself, ang ilan sa mga pag-aaralan natin sa ngayon ay yung Meaning and Relevance of History. Pangalawa ay to analyze primary and secondary sources. Ang pangatlo ay know the repositories of historical sources. At ang panghuli ay understand the classification and types of historical sources. Ang kasaysayan bilang isang asignatura or subject ay isa sa mga boring na subject para sa ilang mga estudyante. Maaring ang pangunahing dahilan dito ay dahil sa paraan ng pagtuturo nito sa nakalipas kung saan ay nakatuon ang guro sa pagpapakabisado sa mga estudyante sa mga trivial facts like what, when, where, saan naganap yung pangyayari, kailan ito naganap, at at sino yung mga involved sa kaganapan na ito. Pero sa magiging pag-aaral natin sa kasalukuyan ay hindi naman natin dinidismiss itong mga tanong na ito bagkus tayo ay magpo-focus sa pagsagot sa mga tanong na bakit naganap ang pangyayari at kung papaano ito naganap. Katulad ng ating nabanggit sa orientation, sinasabi natin ang kasaysayan ay refleksyon o interpretasyon ng nakalipas. At upang makabuo tayo ng interpretasyon ay kinakailangan natin pagtuunan ng pansin yung iba't ibang mga sources dahil sa ito yung pundasyon ng pag-aaral ng kasaysayan. Therefore, sa ating first lesson ay aaralin din natin ano bang pinagkaiba ng primary sources sa secondary sources and eventually pagtutuunan natin ng pansin kung paano ba yung tinatawag na source criticism. Isa din sa pag-aaralan natin ay kung saan ba matatagpuan itong mga sources na ito at kung kaya ba natin itong i-access kahit na nandito lamang tayo sa ating mga bahay. Ano nga bang kasaysayan? Ito ay halaw sa salita na historia, isang ancient Greek term for learning through inquiry. It is usually defined as the study of past events. Ayon naman sa American Historical Association, ang kasaysayan umano ay the never-ending process whereby people seek to understand the past and its many meanings. On the other hand, Merriam-Webster Dictionary denotes that history refers to a chronological record of significant events, such as those affecting a nation or institution, often including an explanation of their causes. Therefore, history is not only a mere collection of narratives compiled or collated by authors. Rather, history employs a system to organize narratives. As what a well-known British historian mentioned, history is a kind of research or inquiry. Generically, it belongs to what we call the sciences. That is, the forms of thought whereby we ask questions and try to answer them. What kind of things does history find out? Well, actions of human beings that have been done in the past. So ito yung sinasabi ko sa ating orientation na ang primary na focus ng history ay ang natapos na yung mga nagdaan ng pangyayari at hindi talaga siya concerned sa kung ano ba yung mangyayari. So therefore, history is not about the what ifs, but rather what was. Dagdag pa nitong si Collingwood, history attempts to know the actions of human beings that were accomplished. Diba? Natapos na, nagawa na, hindi yung gagawin pa lang. Okay? What was accomplished in the past. Sabi nga ni Aristotle, history is a systematic account of a set of natural phenomena. It is also an investigative work because people aim to satisfy their thirst for truth. Yan. So therefore, history is never ending. As long as meron kang controversy na gustong malaman, may mga issue ka na gustong sagutin, magpapatuloy pa rin yung naratibo ng kasaysayan. In the Philippine setting, a classic definition of history is given by Zu Salazar, a notable historian and retired professor of the University of the Philippines. To him, kasaysayan, the counterpart of history in the mother tongue, is an essential narrative with a group of people that is characterized by uniqueness and identity. So siya yung nagpakalat o nagpasimula nitong classic na definition na ang kasaysayan ay salaysay na may saysay para sa isang grupo ng tao na may kakanyahan, identidad na nakasandig sa sariling wika at kalinangan. Sa pagpapakahulugan na ito ni Salazar ay importanteng tingnan kung sino ba yung intended audience ng kasaysayan. He reiterates that the essence of history depends on whose history is being narrated and who the intended audiences are. Madaling sabi, katulad nga ng paulit-ulit na sinasabi ng ilang mga guro, ang kasaysayan ay ang kwentong may kwenta. Di ba? It is important to note that history is not the past, but rather a glimpse of the past. The entirety of the past cannot be narrated and included in all of the written histories for the main reason that not everything which happened in the past were recorded and or documented. Therefore, history does not create narration of past events. Rather, it is a recreation of past events based on available materials. Ito yung binabanggit natin sa ating orientation na hindi pa pwedeng gawa-gawa ang mga historical narratives. Ito ay dapat na nakasandig sa mga available na sources. Dahil sa kung wala kang mga sources na gagamitin dito, it would be dismissed as historical fiction. So ano siya, pang-literature, hindi siya magiging pasok sa social sciences. Lumako naman tayo ngayon sa relevance of history. Collingwood tells that history is valuable because it teaches people what they have done and thus what man is. Through history, the present generation could assess the feats and defeats of the previous generations and can learn not only from their errors but also from their victories. The following relevance of history were enumerated by Peter Stearns. First, history contributes to moral understanding. Second, history helps us understand people and societies. History provides identity. And history is essential for good citizenship. The repositories of historical sources. For the Philippine depositories, the foremost depository where students of history can go to is the National Library of the Philippines. Holding a wide array of general and rare collections on Philippine history, it includes the following units: the Filipiniana Division and Microfilm Section. These units indeed are very helpful to students in their academic pursuits and research endeavors. Hina-highlight lang natin dito yung Filipiniana Division and Microfilm Section. However, may iba't iba pang divisions itong National Library. Important documents such as the historical data papers and the Philippine Revolutionary records are housed in this library. The archives of the University of Santo Tomas contains rich Spanish-era collection, especially with regards to education-related records during the Spanish period. The National Archives of the Philippines also contains rich Spanish-era collection, more particularly when it comes to government-related records of the Spanish regime. If the students wish to conduct researches on ecclesiastical-related topics, they can go and visit the Archdiocesan Archives of Manila, which is located in Arzobispado Intramuros. This depository contains vast information on church affairs. It is also here where the infamous retraction letter of Rizal was found. Moreover, the Manila Observatory Archives contains pertinent data regarding the various weather disturbances and conditions. This is due to the fact that the Observatorio served as the weather forecasting bureau of the Spanish colonial government. Other institutions of higher learning boast the rich collections of both primary and secondary sources. Among them are the University of the Philippines Main Library in Diliman, Quezon City, the Ateneo de Manila University's Rizal Library, and the Historical Collection of the United States Embassy in Loyola Heights, Quezon City. and the De La Salle University Libraries in Ermita, Manila. Students who wish to conduct researches on ethnic groups can visit the SIL, Philippines, in Horseshoe Drive, Quezon City. The said archives offer almost 2,000 titles relating to languages of the Philippines. The archives of the Congregation of the Immaculate Heart of Mary, also in Quezon City, offers collections and documents written by CICM missionaries who were posted in the northern parts of Luzon. Other depositories are the centers established by local historical networks. These centers provide helpful sources about the history of their towns and provinces. Thus, the study of local history becomes easier. Now, let us proceed to the Spanish depositories. The following are the principal Spanish depositories which contain tons of collections pertaining to the Spanish colonial rule in the Philippines. First one is we have the Archivo General de Indias in Seville. Another is the Archivo Histórico Nacional in Madrid. Another one is in the Museo Naval del Ministerio de Marina in Madrid. Fourth one is the Real Academia de la Historia in Madrid. The Biblioteca Nacional de España, also in Madrid, and the Archivo de Ministerio de Asuntos Exteriores in Madrid. The Spanish government, through the Ministerio de Cultura y Deporte, launched the Portal de Archivos Españoles or PARES, which offers free access to digitized copies of documents and other sources that can be found in Spanish archives. Through this initiative, students of history in the Philippines can freely access digitized documents and other sources online. So, since most of us hindi makakapunta sa mga libraries, I encourage you to use these digital archives. So, kung mga Spanish sources, napakarami dito. Pwede din natin subukan yung bdh.bne.es. Ito naman yung Biblioteca Digital Hispanica and yung digital archives ng National Library ng Spain. So marami tayong makukuha dyan ng mga information kung tutuusin. At especially sa mga naka-online approach ay madali sa inyo makaka-access dito at pwede nyo pang ma-download yung ilan sa mga sources na nandyan. Mexican Depository. Philippines was a part of the Viceroyalty of New Spain, the capital of which was situated in Mexico. The ties between the two Spanish territories ended when Mexico gained its independence in 1821. Because of this, a multitude number of sources could possibly be sitting at the Archivo General de la Nación de Mexico, which can be very useful to students. British Depository. For a brief period of time, that is from 1762 to 1764, the British occupied Manila. It was through this invasion that some historical sources written during the Spanish period made its way to the British Museum. As a matter of fact, Jose Rizal took some time to research inside this facility in an attempt to annotate the Sucesos de las Islas Filipinas of Antonio de Morga. American Depositories. Among the main depositories in the United States of America include the following. First, we have the National Archives and Records Service. Then we have the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C. We also have the Ayer Collection of the Newberry Library in Chicago, Illinois. Fourth one is the Lilly Library in Bloomington, Indiana. Another in Harvard University, Stanford University, University of Michigan. Siyempre, napaka-imposible na naman na pupunta pa tayo sa Amerika para maghanap ng mga sources, hindi ba? So ang kagandahan, yung ilan sa mga libraries na ito ay nag-o-offer ng kanilang digital archives. So pwede nyo ma-access yan using the internet. Then we also have archive.org. Marami din kayo ma-download dyan. May mga collections dyan na pwedeng ma-download, especially during the American period. And may mga Spanish sources din na naka-upload doon. Then we also have Project Gutenberg. So yan, pwede din kayo makapag-download doon. So marami-rami tayong makukuha ng mga sources. Although digital, kasi hindi tayo makakapunta sa mga library, pero ang mahalaga doon ay may maroon tayong mapagkukunan ng mga sources. So ayan, dito ko muna tinatapos yung ating diskusyon sa video na ito. Ipagpapatuloy naman natin ito sa susunod na video na aking i-upload. At ang magiging topic naman natin doon ay patungkol sa different types and classification of sources. So kung saan pag-aaralan natin sa susunod na video yung tungkol sa tinatawag natin ng mga primary and secondary sources. Ayun lamang at maraming salamat sa pakikinig.